Welcome back. You're watching Front Row. Today we're talking about hate speech after those unfortunate comments landed Senator Mithika Linturi into hot soup and had the entire nation conversing about the possible future of intolerance in Kenya. Some pundits and some, experts in the matter say that we have not entirely healed from the 2007 post-election violence that was largely incited by hate speech. Now, with me here in studio is Javas Bigambo, who's a governance expert, and NCIC Vice Chair Wambui Nyutu, who are helping me talk about hate speech in Kenya, its place, how to deal with it, and of course put it behind us. It's an election year, and of course we are concerned. You've given examples, of course, and everyone knows, and this is why, of course, this has become a very large conversation across board. Javas?
My argument tonight is that we are not a cohesive nation. In fact, we're not even a nation. We are just a conglomeration of tribes. We are not a nation.
Right.
Right from the time of independence. Nope, I don't want to seem like a doom speaker tonight. But let's face it, Trix. There have been concerted efforts over time to make our nation truly cohesive.
But why
when multi-party democracy came into Kenya, haven't we had various massacres, including Wagala?
Of course.
After that, haven't we had a concerted, truly honest effort to unite and cohere this country through the TGRC? Tonight, let me ask you a very pregnant question. Trix, have we implemented the TGRC report? No. Even a single recommendation from the report? I know the answer is not in the affirmative. The Jubilee administration, under His Awesome Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, has not implemented the TGRC report. Tonight, as we sit here, as I sit in this chair, the Deputy President of Kenya has not spoken a single word to do with the implementation of the TGRC report. Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga has not spoken a single word to do with the implementation of the TGRC report.
Yes.
Neither has Mudavadi or Kalonzo Musyoka. Do we expend public money just to have reports gathering dust on the shelves? If we were to implement the TGRC report, it would even enable much better the NCIC.
Absolutely.
And that's why I think it will be awful for anyone to blame the NCIC. And Honorable Nyutu here is speaking honestly, truthfully, sincerely.
Okay. And I'd like to hear from her about the efficacy. Every time I hear about the TGRC report, Rwanda comes to mind as a beacon of reconciliation because they went through the worst of the worst and managed to implement some form of reconciliation that had them building up after they were basically distracted by incidences that were actually instigated by hate speech. So when it comes to Kenya, what stands in the way of us having the cohesion that Javas is talking about?
I think what stands in the way is Kenyans, leaders, and everyone not speaking out and being truthful and being genuine in whatever they are doing.
Okay.
For example, whatever happened in 2007 should have been a lesson to us as Kenyans. And I believe that a handshake is not enough to calm a country.
The BBI?
A handshake is not enough to tell people that now we are good. No. People still have memories.
Yes.
They are hurting. The wounds are still, they are just covered, but the wounds are still there. So what should have happened? The perpetrators should have come out and said, I did this and this, I called you madoa-doa, I mobilized people to kill you, I mobilized people to remove you out of your homes. I am sorry.
I'm asking for forgiveness.
Forgive me.
Yes.
Forgive me. Forgive my people who did this on my behalf.
Javas.
That is what could have been the solution to Kenyans. But what did we embrace? We just said, let's forget
move on,
about
yeah.
it, let's move on, and things will be
And
fine.
like your Salonists, every time there's an election, will
they
just
have
hide
to
in our
run
homes.
away from home.
Okay, Javas.
What
Yes.
happened also?
Yes,
is, just a
let her
moment.
finish here.
What had happened in Rwanda? They sat down and they decided on a few issues that they can never go back to. For example, nobody would ask the other their tribe. You know, are you Hutu or are you Tutsi? Yeah. Nobody will ask you such a question in Rwanda. In fact, the Rwandese people working here in Kenya, if you dare ask them that question,
right.
if they are a waiter, they won't even serve you because it reminds them of something so bad. If you call anyone a cockroach in Rwanda, you will be jailed. But what happens when you call people madoadoa? People will go up in arms and start saying NCIC is partisan, is taking sides, is choosing this over this. But they forget that we have cut across all political divide. For example, our very own member of the National Cohesion Committee in Parliament, you know, someone who is supposed to, you know, exercise his role against us as NCIC, we summoned him, Honorable Ere. You know, he has the power to go and sit and say we are not giving in any budget to NCIC, as Javad had said. But we had the courage to summon that gentleman. We have summoned people like Honorable Wanga. We have summoned people, even Oparanya. For example, Onyoka will be presented to court soon. So, but when we arrest someone like Linturi and he spends a night in jail, people will say, oh, NCIC is partisan, simply because people want to propel their political agendas. So we need the support of everyone, the Wanjiko, the politicians, and every single person, including the media, to fight this war on hate speech.
Now, Javas, I'd like you to weigh in on that back and forth, people interpreting those words in different ways based on their political affiliation.
The happenstance of Linturi's remarks or Nyoka's remarks are only something that's happening at the tail end of whatever is simmering in society.
Yes.
As we're speaking here tonight, it's just immediately after the death and burial of Desmond Tutu in South Africa. Who was the chair of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa? Did the TRC in South Africa really conclude the issues of apartheid and bridge the gap between the whites and the blacks and create a truly coherent society in South Africa, a truly rainbow community that Nelson Mandela dreamt of? Did neoliberalism really have a sway on Tutu than it was anticipated of the ordinary blacks in South Africa? If we talk about antiquated Rwanda and right now the hangover effects of the genocide, are we seeing situations here in Kenya where we have got some possible precipitates of genocide? With more than 42 tribes in Kenya, the 43rd just having been gazetted by President Kenyatta, I think prior to 2017 elections, the Hindus, I think. Let's face it. We have not, and we're not doing enough to create a cohesive nation. First. Secondly, we take the general public for granted. Tonight, we appreciate the hard fact that we have expended colossal amounts met by the exchequer, whether it's the Ndungu report issues, whether it's the TGRC report issues that remain gathering dust on the shelves. Tonight, we can agree, and Commissioner Newton is here, very brilliant, young, abrasive, speaking to the future as she is to the current, that actually we're not doing enough to save this country. Now, tricks. One may even blame the media. Of course the media can be blamed because not doing enough. Lots of media houses in this country today are owned by politicians. In fact, they are apt and they play to the tune of politicians. They will not say a thing, publicize a thing that contravenes the position of the owner of the house.
This is true.
If we want to be true to ourselves, true to this country, true to our constitution, we need to call every sin by its name.
Yeah.
One, the NCAC, yes, is letting Kenyans down because it waits for the happenstance of issues before napping things in the bud.
Okay. But what are some of the preemptive strikes that they could make if you were to?
Now, look.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have anticipated, I hope I am not over anxious about this matter, but I would anticipate that the NCAC, jointly with other actors, would prepare, facilitate, and have in place mechanisms, one, to superintend the issues of social media use or the tooling of social media.
Absolutely.
As an avenue for hate speech propagation, for incitement, or even to enhance the domino effect of hate speech.
Absolutely. Now,
second,
the
other thing is that it is very important for us to have parliamentarians that speak to the issues that are important to the heart and the progress of the country, not issues that concern just the progress of their political parties or affiliations. Let's face it, I am sure, while politicians mean well for this country, tonight, too many politicians will not think with their heads properly or use the organs from the neck upwards for the greater good of this country, except for the greater good of their political affiliation or their political master.
Okay.
And that's where we are tonight. I am very sure, to a fault tonight, that Commissioner Nyuto here knows pretty well that while she's a very brilliant lady, young,
I will tell you what
she is a leader who knows very well that if she were to speak her mind as it is in its organic sense, it would threaten the position of the NCAC.
And therefore it's not a safe space. Now, I'd like,
yes,
give your possible suggestions. He's told us what he feels needs to change. For the politicians, there's the question of personal responsibility. Given that setup in Eldoret, one would have expected even one of the politicians to say, wait, this is not the kind of meeting we are having. There and then, one would hope that they would actually do that, but that didn't happen. The people who were there, nobody booed. They were just, they were going along. So that means you're not...
I agree with you, and that's why I said that this work it needs concerted efforts, as Javas has said. Politicians must play their role. They must bring sanity on those podiums. Kenyans themselves as well. Wanjiku, how do you hear the word madoadoa and you're just clapping, and that person becomes very popular right at that moment? I want to talk about what NCIC is doing this election year to ensure that we have a peaceful election, because indeed we are very committed to having a peaceful Kenya before, during, and even after the 2022 general elections. Number one, we are having cohesion monitors everywhere in this country. Where there will be a political rally, there will be a cohesion monitor. This cohesion monitor has a tool to tap and record all pronouncements by the politicians, so that we can use it and preserve it for evidence in court. Because what we have faced in the past is lack of evidence. Videos circulating online are not admissible in court unless the person who took it goes to court and indeed is a witness and says, I am the one who took this video. It's from this gadget, and I stand here before this court and swear that indeed this is what happened and this is the evidence. So that is one thing we are doing. Number two, we are having cohesion symposiums. Calling on the church leaders, that one we have already had. We are also having other symposiums with politicians. All these politicians, we will call them, and all of them will sign peace charters, including, and those who listened to me when I spoke at the rally where Honorable Raila Odinga was, I told him to commit that indeed he will tame his people, and he will ensure that these people do not spew hate speech, and that they commit to a peaceful Kenya. That is what we are doing. Calling politicians and ensuring they sign these peace charters. We are doing a lot of social media monitoring.
All right.
Like tomorrow, we are working on a case of where people have been circulating videos online of people banning issues, which are fake news, but which are meant to cause intolerance among communities. All these people, we have summoned them, and we have we are making sure that they face the full force of the law. And these are people from social media. So these are just some of the issues. When we come back, I may finish on the rest.
All right, thank you very much. That is Wambui Nyutu, who's the Vice Chair and CIC. We also had Javas Bigambo, who is a governance expert at helping us dig into this matter of political intolerance and hate speech. Of course, we've run out of time, but the general conclusion to this is that it is a collective effort when it comes to tackling hate speech. You and I, the politicians and everyone involved, needs to be very proactive in ensuring this is something we put behind us for the greater good. Thank you so much for watching Front Row today. My name is Trix Ingado. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.